Micah Frankel, joined right now by Kyle the Hoosier Estrada. Sir, thank you for the time ahead of his LFA 78 main event. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing great, man. I'm excited for this. I'm excited for the opportunity and everything. Thank you guys for having me on, by the way.
Oh, yeah. My pleasure. Going to be third time, I believe, fighting for the promotion. First time there in the main event. What do you think of this opportunity?
I mean, it's awesome. It's funny because, I've been part of Black House MMA since 2010, and then I went pro in 2015, and I was always wondering why I'd actually always complain that to my coach, my head coach, how come LFA never wants to put me on? How come LFA never wants to put me on? But I believe everything happens for a reason, and when I got my opportunity and I finished that one fight with leg kicks, everything just happens for a reason, I got the opportunity and I seized the moment, so I'm gonna do that again.
You stopped the guy with leg kicks, LFA 69, Ricky Furr. That was devastating. I mean, do you know that your leg kicks are that lethal? Was that the plan?
That wasn't the plan. It just presented itself, just the way he was standing, and I do it a lot. I've been doing it a lot. I used to train with Pedro Munoz all the time, and I don't know if you ever watch any of his fights, but he attacks the leg low, and just from training with him so many years, it's just something that I don't even think about. I've always just thrown low, and I know my leg kicks are a little heavier than most people, just based off my training partners and what they tell me. So I know I kick a little harder. I have a little bit more of a pop, just like how some people have a harder punch than others. I have a harder and heavier kick than most.
What was that like, realizing that you had that skill, you had that strength?
It's nice because I'm not the biggest person, so it's nice to have something someone's afraid of. You know what I mean? And some people are afraid of someone's overhand right or left hook. It's you got to watch out for my kicks, and I got two of them, and they come from everywhere.
Right, so it's a good skill to have. And how much do you take pride in then trying to utilize and do, again, different kicks?
I mean, it's really nice to have, because every fight I go into, literally since 2015, every single one of my opponents have to either change their game to check or catch kicks, go over countering kicks, or they have to watch out for the kick. So they're watching for me to throw a kick, and it's nice to have, because I can go into this fight and not even throw one kick, and he's expecting a kick.
In that same, well, also with what a lot of guys are doing right now, I was wondering, your kicks being lethal, are you into switching your stances?
Yeah, I've switched I've always, even when I first started doing MMA, I tried to start out southpaw, and the coach I had at that time made me switch to orthodox, because I grew up wrestling, and I always wrestled with my right leg forward, so it's very natural for me to switch my stance now. And now that I'm older and I've actually been able to practice many years of switching stances, I'm just as good as a southpaw as I am orthodox, and it helps so much. It helps, especially with the kicks.
We got into talking about your kicks, mentioned how big of an opportunity is. First main event for LFA on UFC Fight Pass. What do you think about that?
That's freaking awesome. Yeah, I was watching the UFC fights, and I honestly didn't even, because I was watching the UFC fights late, so I fast forward to the actual fight, so I missed everything in between. And so one of my friends, he sent me a text with a picture of the screen, and it showed the LFA, or it was one of those advertisements saying, get Fight Pass now, LFA, and then November 15th, and then the next date. I was like, oh my God, well, there's our announcement, because they never told us. So that was pretty awesome to have.
Something.
Yeah, no, it's nice, because Access TV was a pain, because I didn't even have Access TV, and I had to keep downloading this app that is like a streaming service, and I had to download it every time with a new phone number so I can get my free trial. And I was getting sick of it. And it also, just if you think about how many people are on UFC Fight Pass and how many people know about LFA, this is just going to bring that much more views to the LFA events. And then to have be a part of the very first event, it doesn't matter if I was the first fight or the last fight, just to be a part of the first event that's on Fight Pass, even people that don't know what LFA is, like maybe some people from other countries, they're going to be like, oh, what's this new promotion? Let's check it out.
And that's
And
funny.
If they like it, they like it. If they don't, they don't. But I'm the first. We're on the first event on there, so they're going to be watching anyways.
That's funny. The biggest feeder now there on Fight Pass. You're taking on Adrian Yanez. He's been with the promotion for quite a while. What do you do to now capitalize on this exposure, this platform, and make a statement with this opportunity?
Yeah, I just got to go out there and have fun and do what I do. I don't worry too much about my opponents. I know he's good. I wouldn't be fighting him if he wasn't. He looks fun too. Like how I've watched some of his fights, not too many, not his recent fights, but the one that I can find on YouTube. He looks like a very fun person to fight with. He looks scrappy and everything, and I mean he's good. So I'm not gonna. He's 9-2, 9-3, I think. And they're putting me in the main event with him. He's been with the promotion forever. He's from Texas, and I know that before LFA was LFA, there was the other. I think it's Legacy.
Yeah.
And Legacy was a Texas company, so he just started from there as the amateurs leagues or whatever. But no, I'm excited. I'm very, very excited to fight with him, compete with him. I don't like to say fight. I'm very excited to fight him. I'm very excited to compete with him.
Why do you not like to say that?
I see it more as like art. People can judge me all they want, but I don't. It is a fight at the end of the day. But if I see it as an art form, I end up doing better myself. If I see it as a fight, I go back to all the days I used to street fight, and then I turn it into a brawl, and I can't fight like that.
How long have you been a martial artist?
Well, technically MMA since 2011 or 12. I didn't take it serious till 2015, but I've been wrestling since I was 13.
Well, I guess the same question, well, a little bit different, would be, how long have you been a fighter?
Fighter since 2000, I'd say 13.
And what did it take to blend all those together to get the art form that you're at now?
Maturity. That's about it. Maturity and repetition. I had to put the time in, but I also I still feel like I started as a pro too quickly, in my opinion. I just wasn't mature enough, and I mean, there's nothing you can do about it. But I'm at that point where I feel like I'm ready for the next level. I saw somewhere where they said that this fight is to like fight for the spot to get a title, and it's as awesome as that is like I'm at the point where I need to go to the next level. I'm not trying to hang out at these other promotions. I'm just trying to get to the next level. So I want this fight to be used as my way to get to the UFC.
What assures you? What do you feel that makes right now the time that you're ready to go, to make that jump, to go to the bigger shows?
It's my maturity while I'm fighting. It's hard to explain, but there's fights, like when you start out fighting, well, for me, this is how it's been for me. When I started fighting, it felt like a street fight. You get done with the fight, and you're just like, what the hell happened? And then you'll eventually get to the point where you can kind of control everything, but you're still having, like, you're fighting off adrenaline. And now I'm at the point where I feel like I'm at practice while I'm fighting. I can see everything. I can conversate with my opponent. I can literally talk to my mom outside the cage to let her know I'm okay. Like, I'm talking with I'm interacting with the crowd because I'm able to. Like, I'm more comfortable fighting than I am sitting in a public space. So I know it's maturity. It just took me a while to get there.
When did this hit you? When did you realize you were at this stage?
This was, I fought for Bellator. I can't remember. I think it's January 2018. The card that Chael Sonnen fought Rampage Jackson on. It was the last time I even got close to 125, but that's when I felt it. We were at the Forum, I believe. Yeah.
And talk to
And
every.
then, he won.
Oh yeah, go for it. Sorry.
Oh no, I was just gonna say the fight that I fought Louis Smoke on was the one fight where I was like, well, when it started, I was just like, okay, I feel like I'm ready for the next level because I felt completely different in that fight than I've ever felt before. It just, the weight cut was terrifying, and so my body gave out on me the second round.
And right now, 135 that's your home?
Yeah, I feel the weight cut it's laughable to like try to explain it to someone compared to 125. Like, obviously a weight cut is still a weight cut, so when you get to the last couple pounds, you're like, this sucks, let me get some water. But compared to 125, I'd have to lose 10 pounds of muscle and then 10 pounds of water. At 135, it's like, I just got to diet down a little bit, which I always eat clean anyways. I just got to portion control. And then probably drink maybe like a gallon more of water. And then just sweat. That's it. It's easy. It doesn't feel like a weight cut. Like when we were in Dallas for the last LFA, I woke up 4 pounds over, which if I woke up 4 pounds over at 125, that would be like hell to get off. But I woke up 4 pounds over and I sat in the hot tub, not even to my shoulders. I sat in the hot tub to my stomach and just chatted it up with the other fighters that were in there and the other coaches that were there for 40 minutes. And then I got out the hot tub and I was on weight. It's nice.
It's a much more natural process than killing yourself, right?
Exactly, yes. And I felt the difference in the fight. Like, I just feel different. I feel like at 125, my cardio was getting sucked out of me because I'd go to strength and conditioning or my Muay Thai practices or my jiu-jitsu practices, and I would out cardio everybody. I had the best cardio in the room. I always do. And then I'd fight and be like, where the hell did all this cardio go? I swear I'm in shape. And like, even people were saying the game plan for Kyle Estrada is to get him into the later rounds because he gets tired. And it's like, fuck. And then I like look at my fights. I'm like, yeah, actually, I was getting tired in the third round, and now it's different.
Going through that, feeling better. So it's an easy cut, and you perform how you feel you perform in the gym, basically, right?
Exactly. It's just, I feel like I'm at practice. I'm sparring, just a little harder.
So if you look at other guys weight cutting, and are you confused as to what they're doing to themselves?
I mean, everyone's different. I don't judge. Everyone, like, even if the person's killing themselves, they might actually perform really well. So it's not my it's not my place to judge anybody for what they're doing. So I just know for me personally, 125 is not going to work.
You found what's working best for you.
Yeah.
Now, you talked about your kicking, the striking, but it sounds like a lot of your roots come from wrestling.
Yeah.
So how has that played that the striking is taking over what we see mostly?
I just fell in love with Muay Thai when I found this Muay Thai gym that is my home now, Saxon's Muay Thai. I don't know. I just fell in love with it. I started striking with Pedro Munoz over at Black House, and we'd have just different coaches every now and then. They'd always switch up the coaches over there, and I fell in love with striking there. But when I actually went to a striking gym, that's when I really fell in love with it, and I kind of pulled away from my wrestling a little bit.
And talk to us about Muay Thai. What has attracted you to the art of 8 limbs?
I understand why people get addicted to drugs now, because I'm addicted to Muay Thai. Like, it's just, there's something about kicking, knee, elbows. It's just, I don't know. It's hard to explain it. It's like I feel like a weirdo. Like a crazy person when I'm like, yeah, there's something euphoric about landing an elbow on someone's head. Even though I'm like the nicest person in the world, I land that elbow and then I want to help them.
But you said you feel all of it as a martial artist, not as a fighter, right?
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. My whole family's like I live with a family of nurses my whole life, so like my whole family's been in the business of helping. So if I always, the way I first started explaining it to my family was, it is an art. So that way they weren't like, why are you fighting in a cage? Blah, blah, blah. Don't fight. Don't hurt people. I'm like, it's an art. It's a martial art. That's where it really came from. But when I started thinking of it as an art, I started fighting better.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And we get to see your martial arts on display here. November 15th, LFA 78. So your expectations are win this one, and it's moving on to the bigger platform, right?
Exactly.
Do you feel there's a pressure to win in a certain fashion, or beating a caliber of opponent like Adrian Yanez is the ticket?
Yeah, I don't put the pressure on me anymore, because when I did, I started screwing everything up. So no pressure. I'm just going to do what I got to do to get the W. It can be a decision. It can be a split. It can be a TKO. It can be a submission. It doesn't matter. I just need to get the win.
And you said before you put too much pressure on yourself. How now do you relax? How do you maintain that calm and not get those feelings?
Again, it's from just being, I just feel like I'm more mature than I've ever been in my life. So, like, right now, I don't even feel like I have a fight covered up. I'm just going to practice, doing my thing, hanging out, getting my mind off things, playing video games, cleaning up the house, just doing my normal thing. Like, it's just maturity. I honestly believe it's just maturity. Like, as you get older, everything's just a little different.
What are you playing right now?
I just got a Nintendo Switch. So, like, Luigi Mansion 3, they just came out with that. Pokemon's about to drop. I'm about to get the new Pokemon games. I've been playing those since I was like 7. Man, there's so many games left. Fucking Legend of Zelda. There's a bunch of PlayStation 4 games that they transferred over to the DS. Or not the DS, the Nintendo Switch. So I'm going to put some of this fight money into those games.
Nice. Kyle Estrada, great getting to talk to you, sir.
Thank you, man. Thank you for having me.
LFA 78, it's the first Legacy Fighting Alliance event on UFC Fight Pass. Make sure to check it out November 15th.